Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Bitcoin Made Simple podcast. I'm your host, Cory. Today, we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about Trump didn't commit to anything at the Bitcoin conference, so I hate to break it to you. That's all he did was show up. There's more he did, but I'll get into that. And then also talk about why I hate the politics teams. I hate this time of every 4 years. This is the worst. And if you're interested in Bitcoin mining, I know a guy that you should talk to. But before we get into that, excuse my cough, pardon my cough, I want to thank the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet as always. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple and use the promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off. You honestly, it's such an easy hardware wallet to use that you're crazy if you don't use it already. But if you don't, save yourself some money. And then also, if you have a Bitcoin meetup and you want Bitbox to send me there, let me know. I've been to Vegas. I've been to the Raleigh Bitcoin meetup, and I have on the docket the Philadelphia Bitcoin meetup. And then also the Minneapolis Bitcoin meetup is a new one that I just got in touch with. So if you have a Bitcoin meetup that you go to, let me know. If you don't go to it already and want to look in your local area, see if one exists, I'll come. But I can show you some Bitboxes while I'm there and also hand out some pretty sweet swag. And then also thanks to Barefoot Mining for sponsoring the show. Barefoot has made it their mission to grow and secure the Bitcoin mining network by bringing a diverse set of operations to life. They're always looking for more energy and like-minded investors. So Barefoot Mining is continually seeking partnerships across a variety of energy sources, but not limited to hydroelectric, stranded gas, flared gas, bioenergy, solar, geothermal, and wind. You can find them at barefootmining.com or at barefootmining on X/Twitter. So if you haven't heard Bob Burnett, he is the CEO of Barefoot Mining. He was on Preston's show earlier this week. It was a great episode. Gives you a little idea as to what a lot of the stuff that I'm dealing with and learning to do and where we're going. So yeah, you should check that out. It's the Investors Podcast. I'm sure you guys all know where to find Preston's show. So into the topics. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. So Trump shows up to the Bitcoin conference and doesn't announce anything. He announces that he would take the Bitcoin that the government confiscated through various means that they currently hold. He claimed that they would hold them as a strategic reserve. Okay. As opposed to what they've done up until now, which I'll get into that in a second. But up until now, they've done what with them? They've just held on to them. Was it a strategic? I mean, it's like literally announcing like nothing. Like he's going to do nothing. Nothing's going to get done differently. And what it did do is it triggered the, I guess now, Harris administration to start selling some of that Bitcoin, which I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do. It doesn't appear to be the smartest thing to do, but, that's a move. That's certainly a move. Anything to make him look worse, I guess. But yeah, everybody was super excited about Trump going to the Bitcoin conference. Not everybody. A lot of people were. And it, the only thing he really did was get paid to show up and get paid by people to take pictures with him, I think. I heard that there were people paying like $60,000 to get a selfie with him. What in the world? That's almost a whole Bitcoin. You could have just bought a whole Bitcoin instead of, I don't know. There's people that are crazy. They'll get crazy into politics. That gets into my next point of what I'm really not looking forward to, which is this cycle. Here we go again, election cycle, and everybody has to be on a team. And so, evidently people are willing to spend tons of money to be on a team. Tons of money to get a picture with the captain of their team. It's not anything new. Politicians have been taking money for pictures and all that kind of stuff for years. But what's really annoying to me, and I've noticed this with family and I guess a couple friends, but if you guys know me, you know that I don't like any politics. I don't like either side. I'm a Bitcoiner. As my Twitter profile says, I talk about Bitcoin, movies, and sports in alphabetical order. Because that's really what I care about. Those are the things that entertain me or interest me. And so being a person like me who's like not firmly in one camp or the other, I find it annoying that you don't have a BitBox02 hardware wallet already. Just kidding. I find it annoying when people automatically lump me into one camp or the other. And that happens based on, I could say like one thing. For example, I said something recently in a group where it was like one thing that alluded to that, there was something that was people that are against Trump always say, and I agreed with. And it was like the eyes lit up like, oh, he's one of us, one of us, one of us. And they just got so excited. And I'm like, no. I am not on your team. I'm also not on the other team. I am on my own team. Team Bitcoin, probably. So that's just, I think that says a lot about where we are as a society. People just desperately need to, be accepted onto a team. And maybe politics has dominated that, but try sports. Like literally. I heard somebody talking about this recently and they said like sports is one of the only things that can bridge the gap between, socioeconomic and political divides and all those things where someone can be, you can see you guys know I'm a Steelers fan, or here I got my Michigan shirt on, so like I could walk through I could show up to a Michigan game and walk through the parking lot and just literally high five and hug people because we're both wearing Michigan shirts and jerseys. Same thing in a Steelers game. I can show up to a tailgate with a Steelers jersey on and everyone else wearing black and gold is all instantly friends. And I love that. I love that camaraderie. But why do we have to have that in politics? If you're really in desperate need of camaraderie, then please go to more sporting events, get involved with sports, and find a team that you like, and then let that be what you obsess about instead of obsessing over politics, just the most annoying thing in the world to obsess about. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I'm just a Bitcoiner sitting here trying to make it in this Bitcoin world. But also, I mentioned, with Barefoot Mining as a sponsor, I'm obviously doing some mining with them. So if you are interested in mining, you should DM me because it is not as expensive as you think to invest in mining. And I'm getting opportunities just popping up through the woodwork, even more that are just about to, surface as opportunities. So I guess my hard work has paid off to get these mining opportunities into a position where we can do something. But the mining is exciting, especially the off-grid stuff. For example, I mentioned last week how I was in the one part of the Pennsylvania wilderness. And then yesterday I was in another part of the Pennsylvania wilderness, and it's a different life than sitting behind a computer all the time. And I can't say that that's a bad thing. It's a good thing. But it is definitely a different life. Because, for example, yesterday I went to look at a gas well, and we're talking again, no cell reception, no people as far as the eye can see, as far as the eye can hear. You're just as remote as possible. So, obviously being in the wilderness and not knowing what you're going to come across, I take precautions and bring things with me to protect myself. I'm walking around the site, checking things out, and I see what look like dog turds just laying in a pile. And I'm like, in my head, I just assume that they're dog turds, like walking around my yard and seeing that my dog, pooped somewhere. And then I'm like, wait a minute, there's not going to be dogs out here. So, I saw one of them. But then as I'm walking around, I see a bunch of piles. I'm like, oh, well, whoever leaves these is here frequently. And I go to, I get my phone out and get enough of a signal to do a Google search on the, where you can use the camera, search the image, it'll tell you what it is. And it confirmed what I assumed, but it was black bear droppings. And I assumed that because I could see seeds and berries kind of mixed in, so I know that that's what they eat a lot of. I was like, oh, okay. Well, this is an area frequented by some bears. Noted. We'll keep an eye out. So I'm walking around the well and looking at other things. And then I get to this one point where a tree had fallen down and the roots, the base of the tree was sticking up. And the shape of it behind some bushes looked like a bear standing on its hind legs, like a black bear standing on its hind legs. And out loud, I was like, oh shit. Reached for my things that I brought with me as, to protect me from such instances. Thankfully, quickly realized that it was, just a tree. But the other thing is too, you have to keep in mind, just because you see some wildlife does not mean that it is going to threaten you. Most of the cases, a bear or something like that is just going to go away. They're going to be scared away by you. But I advise, if you're an off-grid miner, to take the precautions to protect yourself, just in the event that an animal decides to attack you. Thankfully, we don't have mountain lions in Pennsylvania that I know of, or that anyone knows of. We do have bobcats, so hopefully I don't see one of them. But it's just a different world, and I gotta say, I like it, and I like it when you guys use the BitBox O2 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swish/Bitcoin Made Simple. Use promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off, and I will talk to you guys later.